So let's start with the first classification algorithm, which is coming under both the categories actually. Decision tree is used for regression and classification also. So they are called as classification and regression trees. How this tree is actually created, how regression trees and classification trees are created, that we will see step by step. First of all, we'll talk about the classification idea because decision tree is the core classifier which is used to build algorithm which are coming under the classification categories here. Now see, let's see an example. Suppose a job seeker was deciding between several offers, some close or some further from the home, with various levels of pay and benefits. Fine. Okay, yes, multiple offers are there. So he or she might create a list with the features of each positions. Based on these features, rules can be treated to eliminate some options. For instance, if I have commute longer than hour, then I'll be unhappy. Like, so I have to travel for the respective job, so I'll be unhappy something, or I'll be making less than $50,000, so I will be able to support my family, something like that. This kind of conditions are present there, and based on these conditions, someone wants to choose the job. He has to choose the respective job there. So the difficult decision of predicting the future happiness can be reduced to a series of small but increasingly specific choices. Will define what are your preferences, what are your features, means on what features your decision, final decision to select job number 1, job number 2, or job number 3 is defined. Okay, so to solve the problem, this particular problem, so we can build a decision tree, and with the help of this decision tree, it's possible to do the predictive analytics on it, and this predictive analytics will help you to make the perfect decision based on certain situations present in the features there. So what is decision tree? Decision tree, as I told, it is helping us to make the decisions for such kind of situation there. So decision tree is a graph to represent choices and their results in the form of a tree. Okay, obviously the name suggests the meaning of it. That is a tree. It's a tree. So it contains, it's a graph, it's a tree wise graph, right? It contains the different decision nodes. And with the help of their decision nodes, the conditions are given there. When condition matches, then you have to go from either right hand side or left hand side. Like you might have heard about the binary tree. So in the same way, the binary tree, decision trees are created here. So in this tree, the node in the graph represent an event or choices, and edges of the graph represent the decision rules or conditions. Decision rules or conditions that will be there. Node will be containing the event. Event means the choice, whether you have to go for first option or second option, like that. They are the choices which are present at the leaf nodes, at the end node. Basically internal node contain the different conditions. Based on that, you have to either process through the left hand side or to the right hand side. It is one of the mostly used machine learning and data mining application using Python, using R also. So for solving different kind of decision making problems, so we'll be making use of decision tree very commonly for classification and regression also. Fine. So let's understand what exactly decision tree is and how which particular model of machine learning is applied and used over here. As you might intuit from the name, decision tree learners build a model in the form of a tree structure. The model itself comprises a series of logical decisions similar to flowcharts, with decision nodes that indicate the decision to be made on the attribute. So this split into the branches. So what exactly decision you have to make? I'm having the final node, and that node I want to achieve. So I'll be having a series of decisions based on the features that we have given inside it. The model will comprise of series of logical decisions there. If this value is greater than that, less than that, or equal to this, then you have to select another different choice there. So with the decision node, it indicates decision to be made on an attribute. This splits into the branches that indicate the decisions choices. What exactly choice you are going to make, that we have to define there. So as you know, that tree is there. So tree contains the leaf nodes. So at the end, the tree will be terminated by the leaf nodes. They are also known as the terminal nodes that denote the result of following a combination of decisions. Fine, result of following a combination of decisions, multiple decisions, and their combinations will be present. So based on that particular condition, the decision tree will take the decision finally at the leaf nodes. So example of use of decision tree is like predicting an email is spam or not spam. Okay, so two decisions are there. Based on several features that we are giving as input, it will define whether that email is spam or not spam. Or we can predict the tumor is cancerous or not. A tumor detected in the body, and you have to identify that tumor is cancerous or not. Or we can predict the loan as a good or bad credit risk based on the factors of each of these. Whether, see, this algorithm can be used in banks also, whether you have to give a loan to this customer or not, based on his credit history and comparing with others also. Already we are having data for the people or the customers who has granted with the loan, and what was their history. Using that, we build a tree, and that tree will help you to make a decision to grant a loan for the new customer or not. Fine. Generally, the model is created with the observed data, also called as a training data. Then a set of validation data is used to verify and improve the model. We have seen this already. Applicable to the decision tree algorithms also. Model is generated with the observed data, which is we call training data, and then we apply the testing data to check that whether tree is perfectly created or not. Okay, and a new set of predictor variable. We use this model to arrive at decision on the category yes or no, spam or not spam of the data. Fine. Many applications are there, like credit scoring models, with which the criteria that causes an applicant to be rejected need to be well specified. That we can add the how much credit is present with that, and based on that credit, whether you have to grant the credit card or to grant the loan to particular customer or not. Like we can have, or marketing studies of customer churn or customer satisfaction that will be shared with the management of or advertising agencies. Previously, marketing agencies can use, like some customers are leaving the company. They are not, again, they are not the second customer, they are one time customer, and then they are approaching towards other. So why they are leaving? What are the reasons behind it? Can we reliably identify this customer is going to leave your company? Leave means you will not be getting the service or not be interested in services given by your company or the product of your company, like that. So we can identify that customer churn or customer satisfaction that will be shared with management or the advertising agencies. Or diagnosis of some medical conditions based on the laboratory experiments, laboratory measurements that we are taking, symptoms or rate of disease progression, like all this data can be taken as input, and based on that we can create a decision tree. That decision tree will help you to find the particular diagnosis of the disease there. So these are many applications that we can apply that. Remember, this algorithm is coming under classification category. So not only the application present here, wherever your output is in class, it's in the class format, there we can apply the decision tree algorithm very well. Fine. So this method, this strategy is a divide and conquer method. Divide and conquer. Maybe in algorithm we might have studied about the same. They are built, decision trees are built using the heuristic approach called as the recursive partitioning. Recursive partitioning. So partition, partition, partition continuously. Partitions are created, blocks, groups are created, and based on that you build the model. So divide and conquer method is this. This approach we call a divide and conquer because it uses the feature values to split the data into smaller and smaller subset of similar classes. Smaller and smaller subsets. So you create, means you divide, and once you divide the problem, you focus on solution of that particular problem separately, and once the solutions are found, then we'll combine all together to generate the final best model from the similar data there. So these examples are partitioned into the groups of distinct values of this feature. This decision forms the first set of tree branches. The first set of tree branches that will be created, and based on that you build this particular model, and a tree will be created. So remember, tree is a collection of trees, because if you change a root node, for example, one of the branch node is a root node. So from that again another tree is there, another branch node, another tree is there. Fine. So if you start combining, a large tree is formed. This is what we call as the divide and conquer method is there. Now let's go with an example of decision tree. How decision tree is created, on what basis, We'll talk about two different examples. Even we'll talk about the mathematics behind the decision tree also, how exactly it's possible, and then we'll talk about the example for the same. Now, to illustrate the tree building process, let's consider a simple example here. See this example. Imagine that you are working for a Hollywood film studio and your desk is piled with high screenplays. Screenplays are you're a director or you are a producer of a movie, and not many screenplays are there that we have that we are having with you. And that screenplay which contain the detailed information about the movies, picturization, the script of the movie, okay, or the crew of the movie, or the cast means who will be acting in the movie, where, what's the location, what's the budget, what's the length, what's the duration, when it's starting, everything that's present inside the screenplays. Fine. And we have to decide that which movie should I direct first or should I produce first. Fine. That is your decision to be made. Correct. Now, rather than reading each one cover to cover, you decide to develop a decision tree algorithm to predict whether a potential movie would fall into one of the three categories. In which particular category the movie will fall. Three categories are there: mainstream hit, box office bust, and critics choice. Mainstream hit means just a hit movie, whatever budget you're having, okay, that's budget was recovered, maybe mainstream hit. Or critics choice is good movie but commercially not successful, is critics choice. And box office bust is what we say, it's a mega movie, okay, box office bust movie is there. Okay, so rather more than the amount you spend, so you're earned lot more than that. That's what the box office bust. So three movies categories are there. In which category the movies will go: mainstream hit, critics choice, or box office bust. Three options are there. Out of it you have to predict in which category the movie will fall. Now see, according to the machine learning algorithm, to build a tree, we must be having the prior data with us. That is, your previous experience should be present with you. To gather the data for your model, you turn to the film studio archives to examine the previous 10 years of movie releases. Previous 10 years of movie releases. Fine. And for every category, we'll take similar amount of movies. That balanced data will take. So, for example, after reviewing the whole data, so 30 different movies, script and patterns I got. 30 movies I have selected out of the all movies that I am having with me. And out of 30, 10 are in mainstream hit, 10 are in critics choice, 10 are in box office bust. For all 30 movies. So 10, 10, 10, 30 movies I got. And then accordingly, I found the features that will affect the categories of the movie. Now, there seems to be a relationship between the film's proposed in budget and the number of celebrities, A-list celebrities, lined up for starring the roles. Okay, so two features are there that I'm defining here, and according to that, output variable is dependent on category of success. So two features which I extracted: first is number of celebrities, and second is the film's proposed shooting budget. These two factors will take, and based on that, we will define the category of success. So it means that I have identified these features. Based on that, I am thinking that the output variable, that is category of the success of the movie, is dependent. Correct. And now see how the tree is actually created. We'll continue with this example and then see. The scatter plot of this data will look like this one. See this? This is a scatter plot here. So I have taken only two features. So two-dimensional plotting will be easy for me. That's why these two features are taken here. On x-axis, I have taken the estimated budget of the movie. See, on a y-axis, I got the number of A-list celebrities who are acting in the movie. Fine. Here, estimated budget, and this time we are having A-list celebrities present. And as I have collected data for 10 different movies here, you can see this. The green critical success movies. Green square are here, critical success. Then blue triangles are the mainstream hit, this one. And red circles are the box office bust. Fine. Correct. So the data is like that, it's plotted in this way. Now, to build a decision tree here, I require a specific criteria. Decision tree, as I told, is performed divide and conquer. It goes step by step with feature by feature. First of all, decision tree will try to find exact horizontal or vertical line, perfect split, exact horizontal or vertical line. With the help of it, it's possible to separate a class. Now you can see in this data, if you draw a perfect horizontal or vertical line, a perfect split is possible or not. Is it possible? You can see this. I can have a split here, but perfect horizontal not possible. Means this data will go down, this one. Or if you make a split here, that's also not good, correct? Here also we have this red and green will go here. So perfect horizontal vertical is not possible there. Scatter plot is not now allowing this particular operation here. Perfect horizontal vertical is not possible. Correct. But let's talk about machine learning. Machine learning basically focus on the accuracy, not 100% accuracy, maximum accuracy. So we'll think of it, and if single misclassifications happen, then also it's okay that I can consider that it is okay. Means after drawing a perfect horizontal or vertical line also, if one class is separating with some misclassification, also okay. So if it is okay, then I can draw a line horizontally. Now you can see this, a line horizontally drawn, this one, which I have drawn on the y-axis, here on this axis, y-axis, the number of celebrities. If I draw on this line, you can see this, this red class is separated completely, but still in this class we are having two misclassification, one green here, one blue here and here, correct? And two classes are above by this horizontal split. What's the meaning of it? If number of celebrities are low, means whatever line value present over here, let's say 3, below 3, number of celebrities are below 3, then red class is there, number of celebrities are above 3, then green and blue classes are possible. And celebrities are more and celebrities are less, like that, if it is there. See, so if it's like this, so accordingly we can have a split, but still two misclassifications are there. And one important thing to note that I got two planes here and another plane is here, one plane here and one plane here, two planes are created. Now we have to check in both the planes. Now in the both planes, is it again possible to have the split, perfect horizontal or vertical? Can see this here, I can draw split here so that green and blue class can be separated here, but still I will have one misclassification here. Now see this, I have made a split over here at this point, split it. Okay, now see, so by these two lines, three classes are separated, green class here, blue class here and red class here. Three classes are separated, correct? Now what can be our interpretation? You can see when number of celebrities are less, the movie is on this red class, when number of celebrities are high, and this split we are done on the x-axis on estimated budget. Here budget is low and budget is high. When budget is low, green are there, when budget is high, blue are there. But when number of celebrities are high, that time only these two classes are there. Fine. So this is splitwise approach. So we are dividing a problem in multiple small parts, like this which is shown over here, correct? Multiple small parts, and after that this data will be transformed into a tree-wise structure, See how the tree will look like. So whatever split you are done in the sequence, that is followed here. See this decision tree model. Here at the root node, we are having 30 different elements, rows are present. In that 10 critical success, 10 mainstream hit, 10 box office bust, 10, 10, 10 in each category that we are having at the root node. Then first split that we have made. What was that? How many number of celebrities? Means above celebrities, like above 3 and below 3, or we are having low and high. Above 3 we may have high, and below 3 we may have low celebrities there. Okay, check this. So when we have made this split, out of 30, 12 movies will go in low category below the line, and 18 movies are above the line. Here 12 and 18, that split is done. Correct. When number of celebrities are low, then 12 movies are in box office bust. Here see box office bust. Correct. And out of this 12, 10 movies are box office bust. Here means not 100% there. We have seen two misclassifications were there. Here one this and this. So one critical success and one mainstream hit is there out of 12, and 10 are the box office bust. Fine. So it's okay that again split is not possible. That's why our leaf node is a decision node here, where high amount of classes are present. Where higher amount of classes are present? Here box office bust. 10 are there. Out of 12, 10 are movies are in box office bust. So your decision is finalized here. Box office bust. The leaf node, terminal node we call it as. Then we'll go to the second part of it, high, when number of celebrities are high, when they are above 3, let's say. Then 18 movies are there, and out of 18, again, here 50-50 is present. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry. They are present here. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. This one. So out of all 18 movies which are above it, 18 movies which are above, can see 9 movies are critical success and 9 movies are in mainstream hit. Here it's a 50-50 chance present. All of this, if you combine all together here, these movies, if you combine all together, we'll be having 18 movies, 9 critical success, 9 mainstream hit. So in the above plane, you can see in the above plane again 2 classes are there. So we'll apply the second criteria in the second plane, that is the budget of the movie. See this budget of the movie. What's a budget? High or low? Correct. When budget is high, means we are doing a split again on second axis, on the second axis, that is on x-axis. So if you put a split over there, out of 18, 10 movies are in high budget category and 8 movies are in low budget categories. But out of this 10, 9 are mainstream hit and 1 is critical success. And out of this 8, all 8 out of 8 are in critical success criterion. Critical success. Correct. So your decision is finalized here, critical success. In this case also, the decision is finalized with the mainstream hit. Why? Because 90% data is in mainstream hit here. That's it. 90% data is in the mainstream category. So decision is finalized with the mainstream hit. Now you can check the leaf nodes now. Here we have box office bust. Here we have mainstream hit, and here we have critical success. So based on the conditions above, for a movie, we are having this kind of splits, and once the splits are completed, then your tree is now created like that. Now this is a tree. This is a machine learning model created. Now I will use this machine learning model to do the predictive analytics on the respective data. How the predictive analytics is possible now? See, when new movie is there, for new movie, I will check the data. Okay. For a new movie, we will check a data. Which kind of? I will check the budget of the movie and celebrities are movie. For example, number of celebrities are high and budget is also high. For a new movie, celebrities are high and budget is also high. So when celebrities are high, we'll go from here to here. Okay. Then budget is high, we'll travel from here to here. Now you can see it's a mainstream hit. It's a mainstream hit. Fine. So it can go mainstream hit. Now, when celebrities are low and budget is high, celebrities are low, budget is not considered. Directly celebrities are low, you will be having a box office bust. There. Because previously it was happened in the data set, which is recognized by the machine learning algorithm or decision tree here. Fine. Or when budget is high, when celebrities are high and budget is low. Celebrity is high and budget is low. So I'll be having a critical success. Fine. Finally here. At the result, this is the decision tree model created. And that will help us to do the predictive analytics on the given data. Like that. This is a common idea is given. I have not mentioned any mathematics here. How exactly it chooses the nodes and proceed further. That also we will talk about how exactly it does that particular task. So the algorithm which is used here for decision tree is C5.0 algorithm. Okay, there are actually 3 different variations of decision tree are there, but one of the well-known and commonly used algorithm today is C5.0. This algorithm was developed by computer scientist J. Ross Kinlan as an improved version of his prior algorithm C4.5, which itself is an improvement over his ID3, Iterative Digitomizer 3 algorithm. Iterative Digitomizer 3. Although Kinlan markets C5.0 to commercial clients, the source code for a single-threaded version of this algorithm was publicly available, and it's now available in all the libraries of programming languages as well as the different tools which are used for data mining and machine learning. See the URL mentioned here, rulequest.com. On this link, the original version of decision tree is present. There is one more algorithm which is the previous version of the decision tree was present. It was C4.5. So to further confuse the matters, popular Java-based open source alternative C4.5 was there, whose name was mentioned as J48 also somewhere in the Weka package, one of the most useful tool in data mining, was present in the history of computing. Now there are some minor differences are there between C4.5 and C5.0. But the principles of this presentation will apply all of the 3 methods, and algorithm should be considered synonymous. They are same, almost same. Very small changes are there, but just to focus on the current base version of algorithm is present, that is C5.0, which is the common decision tree algorithm which is used today in the machine learning. Fine. Now, what are the advantages and disadvantages that this kind of algorithm is having? This is also very important to note this. See, actually strengths are more than the weaknesses for this particular algorithm here. See the strength, advantages first. So initially, as I told, it's a all-purpose classifier that does well on the most of the problem. Almost all kind of classification problems can be solved with the help of the decision tree algorithm there. Fine, remember. So if you're having a data set which is containing class as the output, one class category as the output, so you can easily apply decision tree algorithm onto it, and you can get your task done with this algorithm. Second, highly automatic learning process can handle numeric or nominal features and missing data also. Numeric and nominal features and missing data means Nominal means your country's output is there or missing data is present. That can also be handled easily with the help of decision tree. Is just only most important feature. This is again the property of decision tree. Remember, in machine learning, there is a concept called as feature selection or feature reduction or feature extraction that we call. So most of the time when machine learning algorithms are used, these algorithms are making use of feature selection methods, and this feature selection method gives you the perfect features. With the help of this feature, it's possible to identify the features which are most suited for your algorithm, which are most beneficial for your algorithm. Fine. But decision tree is one of the algorithm which doesn't require the spatial feature selection technique. It doesn't require the spatial selection technique. Having this ability to select the most important features. But how it identifies that we will talk about. Remember, so there's an extension of decision tree is present for a random forest. It's an ensemble learning algorithm of random forest, and that algorithm internally contains the ability also to extract the features. So we'll talk about practically which features are important, which are not. That decision tree algorithm will show you. Okay, important features only. Then selection or not, decision tree will not be affected. Remember, this is very interesting property decision tree is containing. Then next, can be used on the data with relatively few training examples on a very large number. For example, you are having only 2 entries in data set, one entry for one class, one entry for another class. Then also a decision tree will be created. It will choose the criteria to split. We have a split on this particular data, remember. Okay, and you have lakhs of thousands of lakhs of entries present in the data set. Then also decision tree algorithm will perfectly create the tree for you. Tree will be complex in that case, but it will not slow down the systems basically. Now, results in model can be interpreted without a mathematical background for relatively small trees. Complicated mathematics based models are not present in decision tree. They are present, but not complicated. Some easy equations are there. With the help of these equations, we can find a solution to different kind of problems. And then the more efficient than other complex models. Remember, efficient than other complex model. One more things to note over here is that decision tree doesn't require a spatial normalization technique. In last session also I told about the same. Spatial normalization technique is not required. See, generally when the machine learning models are present, and in the machine learning model, when we have the data, or we are having a model where we are going to use all the features in single equation at a time in the machine learning model, all the features in single equation at a time in the model. That time only normalization is required, because magnitude of the data will change the domination of it. When the features are a high magnitude, then they will be dominating in the output. So that is not required, because decision tree uses only one feature at a time for a split. Only one feature for a split. First, as I told, that we have seen, first of all, it has chosen the number of celebrities, then it has chosen the budget of the movie, and will use ahead. But it uses at a time only one feature to split on. Fine. That's why normalization not required for the tree. But it's okay that if you normalize the data when there is a high amount of data is present, when the magnitude is high, so it will slow down the system of comparison or performing some mathematical operations onto it. Because when you increase the magnitude of the number, so speed of the algorithm will go on decreasing. In that case, if you want to decrease the speed, or if you want to improve the speed of processing of decision tree algorithm, then you can apply that. Then I will talk about the weaknesses what decision tree is containing. Now, decision tree models are often biased towards split and on features having large number of labels. So it's go on splitting till the completed all the splits are not over, all the features are not used, and perfect analysis, perfect features splitting is not done that time. Fine. Then second one, it is easy to underfit and overfit the model. Underfitting and overfitting, both concepts we have seen already. Underfitting is just like we don't have accuracy for training data also and for testing data also. Okay, for training data also and testing data, we don't have any accuracy. That is underfitting. It may be possible, but underfitting is not regularly happen in the decision tree. We have overfitting problem very commonly present in decision tree there. How? Decision tree means overfitting, like yesterday also we talked about the same. When we have high accuracy on training data but low accuracy on the testing data is possible. Correct. Because the model is created for that data, training data. It may not work on testing data also. Maybe it's possible. For the features which are present in training data, only for them it's created. And testing data, it will give very low accuracy. So just like in training data, we have 95% accuracy, and on testing data, we are having 65% accuracy, 60% accuracy. So that time it may create the problem. When you have training data and testing data, accuracy is different. So one of the common problem which is present in the decision tree is overfitting. Next, it can have trouble modeling some relationships due to the reliance on axis parallel splits. Yes, correct. So as we have seen in this example, this one, only axis parallel splits are there. So this split is parallel to the y-axis and this is parallel to the y-axis. Correct. They are parallel for the given axis. So maybe already we have seen that there's a trouble, means exact horizontal or exact vertical splits are not possible. Correct. Exact horizontal, exact vertical splits are not possible always. So it's a trouble, it's a problem there present in this data set. Okay. Then small changes in the training data can result in large changes in decision logic. If you change a data, so obviously the complete node will also get changed, or the decision logic which is applied in the node will also get affected because of that small change that we have done, that you have performed in this data set. Remember. And the last one, large trees can be difficult to interpret and decisions they make may seem counterintuitive. See, I'll show you in practical example also how it is possible to draw the tree, but when there's a high number of rows are there in the decision tree, so that time very complex tree structures are created. Complex tree structures are created. So it's one of the weakness, and it may again consume the time in building the tree as well as to do the predictions on the tree also. When I do the predictions, it also may take the time, because if hundreds of levels of trees are there, that time this problem may arise. So we'll get the degradation in the speed in the decision tree when you have large number of training samples present within it. Okay, so this is what the strengths and weaknesses the decision tree algorithm contains. Now let's talk about the example, another example, and we'll carry forward this example to analyze mathematically how decision tree actually make the decisions, on what criteria, which functions, which examples are required to understand the concept of decision trees. So see, this is a classical example of decision tree. In most of the books which are written on machine learning, they're having this example mentioned in it. Okay, so this data set it's created for a golf player. A golf player is there, just played the game on the golf ground for 14 number of times. Not played actually, he has visited the ground for 14 number of times. Out of it, he has played the game for 9 number of times. 9 times. Correct. 14 times are there. This is the 14 rows we have. And out of it, he has played the game 9 number of times. You can see, yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And remaining 5 are the no. Means he has not played 5 number of times. He has played 9 number of times. 14 situations are there present in it. Correct. Now, but based on several environmental situations, atmospheric conditions, this data set is created. See that outlook. Okay, outlook was, how was the outlook? Rainy, overcast, or sunny? Or temperature was hot, mild, or cool? Okay, or humidity was high or normal? Humidity is high or normal? Or windy, when the atmosphere is windy or not? True or false is mentioned in it. Okay, and accordingly we are having the final output variable play golf. Play the golf. Whether you have played the golf or not, that is finally decided. The final output variable, yes or no. Correct. Yes or no. Playing the golf or not. Correct. So using this data, we will build a tree, a decision tree. With the help of that decision tree, we can create the machine learning model and will decide whether when new atmospheric conditions are there arrive, then you have to play the golf or not. You will play the golf or not. So using this data, the tree is created here. Dependent variable is play the golf or not. So as we can see in the data set, we are having 14 number of data rows present in it. Out of it, 9 number of time we have play, and 5 times we have don't play. See this. So first of all, in the tree, the outlook is taken. Outlook. So when the outlook is sunny, just played the game for 2 times and don't play 3 times. Outlook is overcast, play 4 times and don't play 0 times. Yes, see here. Decision is finalized here. The first decision is completed, all. Second decision is 0. When outlook is overcast, nothing more is possible. So every time when the outlook is overcast, you have played the game. Okay. And when outlook is rainy, play 3 times, don't play 2 times. So here we have 60-40 or 40-60 situations are present. So, but here is finalized. See, overcast, what overcast is, outlook is overcasted. You can see overcast, yes, overcast, yes, overcast, yes, overcast, yes. 4 times. This is the dependent variable. That's what we got in the output play. Then for rainy and sunny, you can check it for rainy and sunny. It's a 40-60 situation. So another feature is applied. See, for sunny, humidity is checked. How much is the humidity present? So if humidity is high, that is greater than 70, let's consider that. Don't play 0 times and play for 3 number of times. And same case we can check it here. On the other hand, when humidity is less than 70, that is low or normal, play 2 times, don't play 0 times. Correct. So here decision is finalized, here also finalized, and same case here also. In rainy, you're going to check windy. So whether windy is true or false. So when windy is true, don't play 2 times, play 0 times. Windy is false, play 3 times, don't play 0 times. See, 2 plus 3, 5 plus 4 plus, okay, 9 plus 2, 11 plus 3, 14. 14 decisions were there that are taken from the respective decision tree and it's created like this. Fine. This is a decision tree. And now one important thing to note here is that this tree is not having any misclassification. Maybe the training data is having 100% accuracy here, because the data on which you have created, there is no any misclassification possible here. All other variable are 0 remaining. Second variable is 0. First variable is completed and second variable is 0. So decisions are finalized. So 100% training. In the previous example that we have seen for the movies, it was 90% accurate for training data because 3 misclassifications were there. So it is accurate for 90% data. Maybe when you apply the testing data for this data set here in weather report, you can have 80% accuracy also. 70% maybe. Training data is giving 100% accuracy, but maybe testing data will not give the 100% accuracy in such cases. Fine. So this is the process of tree building and how exactly the tree is created. That's also illustrated here. But before proceeding further, we just have to know about two different concepts. Two different concepts are there. On that particular concept, the tree building process is built on Gini index, and second is information gain. On what basis the tree is created, how it decides if this function to split on, this functions to split on. So Gini index and information gain, both of these methods are used to select from the n attributes of dataset which attribute would be placed at the root node in the internal or the internal node. You can see the Gini index 1 minus epsilon for all j p square. Fine. Gini index. So Gini index is a metric to measure how often a randomly chosen element would be incorrectly identified. Randomly chosen element would be incorrectly identified. That's what we are going to see. Remember. So Gini index is the error present in the feature selected. We have to select a feature to split on. So Gini index is the method by which you can identify the impurities, errors present in that particular feature. Okay, I'll show you practically how this Gini index is applied. So you can see sklearn support Gini criteria for Gini index, and by default it takes Gini value also. Second is entropy. Entropy is a measure of uncertainty of a random variable. Random variable. It characterizes the impurity of the arbitrary collection of examples. Impurity, that is the errors present in it, that's called as entropy. Higher the entropy, more the information contained. Information gain means which feature is having high information present in it. That is identified with the help of the concept of entropy. See, the function mentioned here, we'll talk about entropy also. How entropy criterion is used to build a tree. So if random variable x can take n different values, okay, a random variable n x take n different values, the ith value xi with probability p of xii, okay, probability xii, we can associate the following entropy with x, like h of x is equal to minus I equal to 1 to n p probability of xi into log to the log of p of xi to the base 2, like this. This function is used to find the entropy. So entropy is used to identify the information gain. Gini index is the error present in the data, so it should be as low as possible. And entropy is the amount of information present in the data. Entropy is the amount of information, that's called as the information gain, which is used to calculate, entropy is used to calculate information gain, and with the help of that, the next point is chosen. How it is chosen, on what basis chosen, the maths behind it, that also we'll see. But we'll take a short break of 3 minutes, and after that we will continue with the analyzing a tree, how tree is actually created, on what basis created, and how the splits are basically made. Fine. Welcome back, and let's continue. So we have talked about the Gini index and the entropy criteria. Based on that, we are choosing the next feature to split on. As I told, it takes only most important features. See, I'll just go back again and see this data, this particular structure. Here, outlook, humidity, and windy, three different features are used to split. But remember, actually 4 features are there in the data set. Which is the fourth feature which is not taken here in consideration to create a tree? See this. Outlook is taken, temperature, no, temperature is not taken. Humidity is taken, wind is taken. But temperature is not taken. So most important features only. That is taken in consideration. But on what basis? Decision tree chooses the feature to split on. By applying Gini index or entropy criteria, we are going to choose the feature to split on. So let's continue. Searching for a good tree. How tree building process is actually done? How should we go about building a decision tree? So to find a solution to these questions, we'll see how it's possible. The space of decision tree is too big for systematic search. So two different questions are there in front of us. So when you start building it, now, when to stop and how to split, on what basis you have to split? So stop and return a value for target feature or distribution over target features value. We choose a test like input feature to split on. For each value of the test, build a subtree for those example and value for the test. See, the important functions which are processed here, it's a top-down induction process which is followed by decision tree. Two questions are mentioned: which node to proceed with, which features you have to choose, not sequentially chosen. There are some criteria which are applied by decision tree. Based on that, this node to split are chosen. Second question: when to stop? When you have to stop? Now see, if the data is not perfectly done, like the example that we have seen in the first case, that is movies data. So how it decided to stop? Where you have to stop it? So these two questions that will check the answers for. So base decision attribute is the next node. See, the base feature. But what is the base feature? Remember, which is the base feature? So assign A as a decision attribute for the node. So A is the base feature, for example, and then we will assign the A as a decision attribute for the node, and accordingly we will split it. So for each value of A, create a new descendant. First I have taken A, for example, outlook, and then second descendant maybe windy or humidity there. My next descendant B, then C, then D, like all. Then sort training example of leaf node according to the attribute each of the branch. And finally, all the training examples are perfectly classified. Remember, when all the training examples which are used, whatever 1000, 2000, 10,000 are there, if all are perfectly classified, same value of target attribute are there, means everyone is having leaf node as the class. Then stop, or we'll iterate over the new leaf node. Again, use another node. So it's not compulsory that decision tree will use only one node one time. Decision tree can use the node for multiple number of times. Like see, for example, in the movies data set, we have checked that number of celebrities are high or low. Under that, again, split is not possible. We'll choose that particular feature again, upper high and lower high. In the high part, again, two parts will be there, upper high and lower high. Correct. So that two parts are possible there, which is above the respective value presented there. So that feature can be used for any number of times, again and again. And when you stop it, when you are going to reach the final perfectly classified tree created there. Fine, that is your stopping criteria. Now, when to stop? That's what I mentioned. When no more input features are remaining. Input features are completely utilized. First case. Second case, all examples are classified the same. All the examples are classified. Or too few examples to make an informative splits are there. Very small examples are there, and then it's not possible to have an informative split, so we'll directly stop it there. Fine. Correct. That is what the stopping criteria are. And second, which test to split on? Where to split or when to choose on split on? Use smallest error. When you perform a split on that data, on that feature, if it is generating smallest amount of error, that will be chosen. We generate the smallest amount of error, that will be chosen. Correct. With multi-valued features. Second, when the features are getting multiple values, categories are there. If first category, second, third, like we have seen overcast, rainy and sunny, three different values are there in that particular feature. So based on that, you split. Or we can split on the value also, above that, below that, equal to that, maybe. Or we'll split into the half, exactly 50% part here, 50% there. So that is what the splitting criteria are considered here, and based on that, the trees and the nodes, internal node branches of the trees are created. Fine. Now let's take an example here. How decision tree decides which feature to choose to split on, which feature to choose, so the perfect split is possible. See the example here. Now in this example, for example, in the A1 and A2, two features are there. And I want to make a tree split. I want to choose that whether I should go for A1 or I should go for A2. Now see, when I go for A1, total 64 classes are there, data sets are present. Data is present, 64 rows. And out of 64, 29 are in plus class, that is first class, and 35 in second class. Okay, 29 are in plus class, they are positive samples, and 35 are the negative samples. For example, 29 and 35. Correct. It's almost data is balanced here. Okay, so when I want to make a split, that maximum positive will be on one side, maximum negative will be on one side. So I'm having a first feature A1 and second feature A2, and a condition is given there for A1 and A2. Now when A1 feature is chosen, when this condition on A1 is true, I'm having this one. See, out of 29, 25 plus features are here at this side, and out of 35, 5 feature will be on this side, on the true side. Okay, after that, maybe true side. And when this condition is false, then out of 29, 8 features are here on the false side, and out of 35, 30 features are there on the false side. Correct. Means that condition separates it. So 21 plus 8, that is 29, and 5 plus 30, that is 35. This is completed. Correct. So this is the situation when you choose the A1 first feature to split. Now when I choose second feature to split, when I choose second feature A2, so in case of A2 here, see, in case of A2, 29, 35 are there. Fine. Then if this A2 condition is true, then out of 29, 18 are here, and 35, 33 are here. This split is made. Correct. And when the condition is false, then out of 29, 11 are here, and out of 35, 2 are here. So 18 plus 11, 29, and 33 plus 2, 35. This split is done, or this split is happening actually when I choose the A2 feature on certain criteria. Fine. Now, so what to choose, A1 or A2? What criteria we have to apply so that the split is perfect And after that also the descendant features will also generate the perfect fit, perfect split on it. Fine. So how to go with that? See, principal criterion. So selection of an attribute to test at each node, choosing the most useful attribute for classifying examples. First and commonly used method is information gain. That is entropy based, the second which I have shown formula. So what is information gain? See, information gain measures how well a given attribute separates the training examples according to their target classification. How well the given attribute separate the training examples according to their target classification. Fine. This method is used to select among the candidate attributes at each step while growing the tree. Candidate attribute at each step while growing the tree. Which information gain means how much information, how much useful information is present inside the respective feature or respective data, basically respective column that we are having. How much important information is present there, that is identified. Correct. And the feature which is having high information gain, the feature which is having high information gain, that will be chosen for the split. Having high information gain, that will be chosen for a split. So this measure is used to select the candidate attribute at each step while growing the tree. So when you are growing the tree, when you are choosing the next attribute to split on, this information gain criteria Okay, so uncertainty is identified method and its values lying between 0 and 1. 0 and 1. Regression analysis, we have seen many different examples. These values are basically lies between 0 and 1. Now, when this value information is approaching towards 0, it is decreasing. It's approaching towards 1 is increasing. So the feature which is having high information gain, the feature which high information is chosen for the split. Chosen for the split. See, so entropy is used for that particular purpose. Entropy is a measure of uncertainty, purity, and information contained. Uncertainty, purity, and the information contained. Now, in information theory, optimal length code assigns minus log of p to the base 2 bits to message having probability p. Having probability p. Now see, if S is a sampling examples, see, let's see the method how this entropy is used to find the information gain. For example, F couple of training examples, and if S P is a proposed positive example, how many classes, categories are in positive examples are rows are there, and P minus is the proportion of negative examples in S. So for example, out of 100, 40% positive and 60% negative are there. So 0.4 is the probability of positive, 0.6 is the probability of negative. That is P plus and P minus R. And entropy of S, the measure for purity information contained, that is the entropy of S, is calculated as the average optimal number of bits to encode information about uncertainty or certainty about S, and the formula is mentioned here. Entropy is calculated by this one. Entropy of S is equal to P plus, that is positive probability, into minus log to the base log of P to the base 2 for positive number, positive proportions, plus P minus into minus log of P minus to the base 2, like that, equal to, so this is the formula to do this one, minus P plus log of P plus 2 base 2 minus P minus and log to the base 2 of P minus. This formula is used to find the entropy. Now see, entropy is how exactly looking like. The entropy is 0 if the outcome is certain. Entropy is 0. The entropy is maximum if you have no knowledge of the system or any outcome is equally possible. See this one. So it's a logarithmic curve actually. P probability, this side, y side we have entropy of S. So you can see, as probability is increasing from 0 to 1, entropy will start increasing. Entropy will start increasing. It is 100% when probability is 50%. Entropy is 1.0 when probability is 50%. And when it's going above that, again entropy start decreasing. Fine. So when probability is 0 and probability is 1, that time entropy is always 0. Remember, entropy is always 0. So they are approaching towards 0.5 center. 0.5 probability is having high entropy, highest entropy present there. It means that when entropy is 0.5, it means that we are having a perfect class balance present. So S is a sample of training examples. P plus, as we seen, positive proportion, P minus is negative proportion, and entropy measure the impurity of S, that is entropy of S is equal to same formula which I mentioned, minus of P of log P plus minus P minus to the log of P minus. With the help of it, the entropy is calculated. Fine. And now using entropy, the information gain is calculated. See, information gain is like this. See, information gain for sample S on attribute A, expected reduction in entropy due to partitioning S on attribute A. It's like this. Gain of S comma A is equal to entropy of S. Okay. And using this formula is calculated. Now if we put all these values together, first of all I will calculate the entropy. Entropy will be common. Entropy is common because the proportion of classes are same here. Here also and here also. For example, the previous example which I have shown, A1 to choose or A2 to choose. Now based on information gain, we will calculate whether A1 to choose or A2 to choose. See that example I mentioned. Entropy will be calculated by this one. See, this one, minus P positive divided by total log of positive proportion. Out of 64, 29 are there. Here also, out of 64, 29 are there, but this is the proportion of it that we calculated here, and minus second class, that is negative class. For example, it is 35 out of 64 log to 35 out of 64. So proportion is 35 out of 64. Here 29 out of 64. If you do this one, if you perform this particular operation, we will get the number entropy is 0.99. So for A1 also entropy is 0.99, and for A2 also entropy is 0.99. How many classes are now remaining? That we can identify by this particular split. Correct. This is what we call as the entropy for the data. Now, using entropy, the information gain for A1, information gain for A2 will be calculated. How? Check it out both. Now, entropy, see, so when I do the splitting on A1 on true and false, so entropy on this side will be 0.71 when you calculate for 21 and 5. Same example that we have seen previously, this one, using log minus log. On this split, if 21, 5 are there, so entropy is calculated is 0.71, and on this side, when 8 and 30 are there, entropy is calculated is 74, 0.74. Correct. Okay. And using the entropy of both, this also and this also, we calculate the gain, information gain. So gain for A1 on sample S is equal to entropy of S minus proportion of 1 into entropy of it minus proportion of second into entropy of the second split. And if you combine them together, I am having 27 information gain for A1. This is the entropy criteria chosen. Entropy of S 0.99 into, sorry, minus proportion of first class into the second one, sorry, addition of both classes, not proportion, addition of both classes. Means 21 plus 5, 26 here, and entropy of this part, that is 0.71, minus addition of these two, that is 38 samples are on this side, proportion is calculated into entropy of this side. Using this, information gain is calculated. You can see 0.27 information gain on A1 side. And if we go to for A2 side, on this side, you can see now 1833 and 112 are there. So for 1833, entropy is 94, and 830 entropy is 62, this side. Okay, fine. And for this case also, I think this should be 11 and 2 there. These numbers are missing. 11 and 2 are there. Okay, fine. Here it should be 11 and 2. Then gain for A2, entropy of S minus 18 plus 33, 51 divided by, means proportion of from 64, total element are here, into entropy of them. Entropy of them is 94, that we calculate, minus 13 on this side, 11 plus 2, proportion of from 64 into entropy of 11 and 2, it is 62 taken. So if you combine all together, we will get 0.12 information gain calculated from the second feature A2. Compare, which is having more information gain? A1. It is 27, 0.27. A2 is 12 only. So A1 is now chosen for a split. A1 is now chosen for a split because it is having more information gain than A2. That's why the A2 feature is not chosen, A1 is chosen for a split. Fine. Now, can we apply this to our criteria? The example that we have seen. Examples. Fine. So, by using the formula of entropy, by using formula of information gain, I have put together. Now see this one. For example, I want to choose whether humidity or wind for the first time. When you choose the split for that particular example that we have seen in the last presentations. Okay, see total 14 are there. So in 14, 9 plus 5, 9 and 5 are there. So if you apply the entropies criteria, so 94 is the entropy present in this particular data for 9 and 5 out of 14. So 94 is the entropy present, both same is there. Now for if you choose humidity for splitting, so I'll get 3 4 here and 6 1 here, and for wind I'll get 6 2 here and 3 3 here. Correct. So the information gain for humidity will be like that. Gain of S, gain on S for humidity is this one, entropy minus 3 plus 4, 7 divided by 14 total into the entropy for this side is 98 minus 6 plus 1, 7 divided by 14 into entropy of this side is 59. I got information gain is 0.151. Entropy on this side is 0.151. Correct. And second part, here, second wind. Gain, information gain on wind will be like this. Entropy 94 minus 8 this side out of 14 into information gain of this side is 0.811 minus 6 out of 6 out of 14. 6 out of 14 are here into 1.1, 1.0 is the entropy on this side. Because see why? See this. What is that? 50-50 is there. Now see, 50-50 is less preferred. That's what to know. 50-50. So when you have 50-50 classification, you can see that entropy, 50 probability is there, entropy is on high. It should be completely on one side or another side. Fine. That's why they're getting information 1 here. And if you combine together, I'll get entropy, sorry, gain, information gain is 0.048 for wind side. So can compare now. Humidity provides greater information gain than wind with respect to target classification. Which one to choose? Humidity. But wait, one more feature is there. Outlook. So for outlook, 3 possibilities are there: sunny, overcast, rainy. So when you choose sunny, 2 plus 5 is there, entropy is 97. When you choose overcast, entropy is 0, because 4 plus 0 is there, directly 0 will come. Okay, complete balance that we have on this side, on one class or another class, entropy will be 0. Fine. And 3 plus 2, again we have 97%. So same balance is present here, 97. And to identify the gain for outlook, we use 94 entropy into 5 out of 14 into 97 of this minus 4 out of 14 into 0 here. So this number will automatically become 0 minus 5 out of 14 into 97. We combine together, we got the entropy as 0.247. For outlook, now compare. Humidity 0.15, windy 0.048, and outlook 0.247. So which attribute is having highest information gain? Which is that? Outlook. That's why in the decision tree splitting, first time outlook is chosen for split. And after that, again remaining, for the remaining data, another task will be, or another feature will be used based on the same criteria. When you use this split, then what happens? That is considered. And using it, the next attribute to perform a split is chosen in the decision tree here. Fine, check it now. And likewise, you can calculate temperature also. So the information gain values for 4 attributes are, for outlook is 247. For humidity it is 0.151, and for wind it is 0.048, and for temperature it is 0.029. Temperature is having less information gain. So S is a collection of training examples. Note that 0 into log of 0 is equal to 0. Okay, that's what we have seen when split is perfectly done, because the outlook is having one split perfectly done on one overcast. Perfect split is there, means completely the 4 are done, and then we can create it accordingly. See, though we have seen the thing graphically, practically this method is chosen. Practically, this method of information gain is chosen to do a split on the given data, and then splits are done in the decision tree algorithm. Fine. So this is the method by which you build a tree. You perform the operation to build a tree, and then decisions are taken based on the given set of data. Fine. So this is how theoretically the tree is created, and let's talk about the practical idea of it. So I'll show you one practical example how to use a decision tree, and the thing that we have seen. How do we apply it? How do I build a tree? How we visualize the tree also? Wait a minute.